Hello everyone, welcome back to U5 BP Guru. Today we're back in the time manipulation series where we covered off pausing, fast forwarding and slow-moing time. And in this one we're going to do reverse. I've added a bunch of extra stuff to this. I've been messing around with it for a few days now, and I'm very excited to do this series now. This rewind segment, it was from another tutorial which I will link in the description, but I've made some slight amendments to it, and the reason for that is because I found that there was a few things that were missed, and if you watch their video, as brilliant as it is, on their animation side of things, the one thing they didn't do was rewind their animations, set the playback, and there's a few other things that I wanted to add in as well. But if you look at this now, it's very subtle, but he does actually, or she does actually rewind for animations. It doesn't look so great with the bog standard walking animation. So the other thing I've added, if I haven't paused time, is a short segment of rewind, because again I found that if I stood there for 5 minutes, I'd have to wait for 5 minutes of animation or whatever to rewind back into its original position. Someone else also asked in the comments for a gravity flip. Well, I've added that in as well now, so you can now move around in the back end of the world, or the upside down of the world, and then we can just go like that. I also added a couple of things like a double jump and a dash, which I will go through all of those things in episodes coming up. So lots of cool stuff to come. But let's do the rewind. So, like I said, I'll link the tutorial for you guys to check out in the description. But I will be going through everything and adding all the extra steps I did in this too. So, you see I've got all of this down here. We'll just do it from scratch. But we need a blueprint component or an actor component. And we'll just, and like this one, I'll just call time rewind toot. And we'll open that up. So we need, on the event begin play, now he uses an event tick, which is obviously very problematic if you have a lot of these actors in each level, which you probably would in a game like this. So I've kind of gotten rid of that and changed it for something slightly better. It's again still not perfect, but it is slightly better. We're going to cast to the third person character and get the player character. And then from this, we're going to call those bind events the rewind and the to forward. Bind and rewind and forward. There we go. Like so. And instead of using the event tick, what I'm going to do is start a timer by event and set it to loop. Instead of like ridiculously fast, 0.01 seems to be far better. Then we need two custom events. One is going to be called rewind, and the other one is going to be called forward. I know, our naming conventions are fantastic. Pull off from the red little square and hook them up to these events. Basically what this means is whenever we need to, whenever we call the bindings, these events will get actioned, and it's only going to do something very very simple, which is rewind. Or I should have put is rewinding, but is rewind is fine. We're going to is rewind. And again, if we're rewinding, it's going to be true. And if it's forward, we're going to be casting it to false. And then we're going to create one more custom event that's going to get called every 0.01 seconds by this set timer event. And we'll call this set location. And then we're going to call the branch, and we're going to ask that question, is rewind. Now, sorry, no, that's not what we call first. We want to know is AI. Is AI. If it's not AI, we're going to do everything for the static mesh, which we're going to cover first. And then we'll cover everything for the AI afterwards. They're very similar code, except for the subtle differences that I've made. But for the most part, they're the same. So we're going to ask is rewind. And then we're going to do another branch. Now, this is something I added in. We need to set up the static mesh. So let's pop that in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a blueprint actor, which is going to be our time SM master. And then we're going to create another one, which is going to be a type character, which is going to be our time, what did I call it? Time underscore SKM master. Okay. You can call yours whatever you want, but that's just what I'm going to call mine. And for now, we're just going to open up that static mesh master. And what we need to know, if we get a variable here, we want to know is short life. Again, call yours whatever you want. Mine's not the best, but we're going to set it to instance editable, expose, and spawn, so we can set each one individually depending on what we want. And then we can come back into here. What we need as well is we're going to need 2 references to our different objects. So we'll call this one static mesh ref. And no, we won't. We'll just call it static mesh because it's going to be a component. So we'll go for the static mesh component, which is down here, and we'll have that as a object, and it comes up in your component. So it kind of acts like its own component. So we'll get this. We'll need that later. The other one we'll need is a. We'll need to call that master. So we'll get our time underscore SM master, and we'll call this one the static. We'll call it SM ref. We'll also have an AI one as well. So we're going to get a capsule. We're just going to do all the variables quickly, just because it's easier. Capsule collision object reference that comes up into your components as well, and then we're going to have one of our time SKM master object references as well, and that's going to be our AI ref. The only other thing we really need is going to be a transform. So we'll call this actor transform, and then we'll set this to just a bog standard transform, like so. But we're also going to set that to an array. Okay, so now we should have everything. Should have everything. We get our SM. We're going to get is short life, like so, and then we're going to say and boolean. Plug that in, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get our actor transform. We're going to get what do you want? The length. Sorry, the length. And then we're going to ask, is this equal to, let's just say 100. You could create a custom variable in the SM and have that plug into there to say, okay, this one needs to last for 100 ticks. This one needs to last for 200 ticks, depending on how big the level is and what you want to have happen and stuff like that. Because you might find that 100 is not enough. So having it hard set to 100 is probably not the best. You could, like I said, create a another exposed variable of how long you want it to last and then have it plugged into there. That's completely up to you, but either way. So this part was the actual tutorial. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the actor transform and we're going to add. We don't want it to be a unique one. We want it to be the same. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get our static mesh component, and we're going to get world location. There we go. No, sorry. Get world transform. There it is. And that goes into there. So what this is doing is every time this set location is called, if we're not rewinding, it's going to basically say, okay, is it a short life live? If it is, and we're at 100, we'll stop doing what we're doing. If it's false, it's just going to keep adding every 0.01 second. It's going to add a new location, a new transform into the array. And then what we're going to do is when we're rewinding, we're going to do something completely different. Okay, so we're going to want to get this quite a few times. So we'll say, okay, is equal to, this time we're going to say it is equal to 1. We're going to get another branch. So we're going to bring this all the way over here till we've got a bit of space. Oh, like so. And plug this in. Is equal to 1. Then if we need to get the static mesh component. Set world transform. If it's false, sorry, we want to come off the false. We'll want this again anyway, but right, put that there. True into there. So we want to do grab just this. We'll get the last index, or we'll just put in last index, and we'll do a get a reference to that last index, and plug that last index in there. Oh, right. Okay. We're going to want that as well down here. So in the original tutorial, they had this set to 0. But I found this caused major problems. So I set it to 1 and it works just so much better, I find. But see what works for you. The last thing we want to do is get these last 2 nodes here. And we're going to remove the index. And the index being that last index. Obviously, if we only have 1 index, we don't want to remove anything because we want it to return back. We want it to stay in that location. I found if I hit 0, basically it would just delete the item. It was really bizarre, whatever happened. Its transform would just get completely messed up. So that is static meshes. That should work a treat for you guys. For the AI, we are going to check is rewind. Now, I found for AI, I don't really want it to have a short movement life. You could just add the same code in, but just make sure obviously AI has this is short life variable. So you could copy the same thing. But instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this bit of code, put it up here. So if it's not rewind, what we're going to do is get the capsule and plug that in there. Like so. We don't need the secondary branch. So get rid of that. And just copy that there. Okay. And then most of this code now is going to be the same. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this all up here. Comment off where you need to, by the way, because this could get a little bit messy. And then we just need to change the capsules to the static mesh references to capsules. Now, this is what I meant by this will cause you issues with animations because it's moving the capsule, not the mesh, which is the obvious way to do it. Because if you don't move the capsule, you're gonna have collision issues and God knows what else. So we need to obviously deal with the animation. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the reference, get AI controller, and what we're going to do is we're just going to stop movement. When we get to that last position, we're just going to stop any movement. so it stops it walking around, like so. Right, and that should be it for that. And that is your rewind pretty much done. All we need to do now is just add a few extra bits into our masters. Obviously, you want a mesh and things like that. So let's get Quinn. We'll put her down. We'll minus 90 and rotate her minus 90 as well. And then just give her usual anim. There we go. Okay. And then in this, you can just add in a static mesh and, I mean, just set it to a cube, right? Any cube. There you go. There's a cube there. So that's good. The master's good. We just now need to add in a very tiny bit of code and manipulate a couple of little variables. And we're done. So on the static mesh, what do we need? We need to go into the event graph. We need to add in the new time rewind toot that we've added in. We go to the event graph, and what we can do now is just drag this out. And what we need to do is basically set the static mesh variable. And that is literally just this static mesh here. This little component we've got there goes in there. We obviously need to ask the question, is AI? For the static mesh, it's going to be false. And then we also need to set the SM ref, like so. And that is just a self reference to self. And then after that, it's done for the static mesh. One thing we will need to change is its gravity. I think. Let's get rid of that for a second and just scroll down. Physics, sorry, it's in the physics section. And what we want to do is the velocity solver iteration count, set that to 1. That'll stop it basically just getting insanely crazy in terms of physics. And we want to turn off inertia conditioning as well. Basically, that'll just help you in a lot of different areas. And what I found was the more you use your time mechanics in your level, it can add unnecessary force to objects. So we want to basically just keep that to a minimum as possible. Things get crazy when you're using physics in Unreal, and it isn't the easiest thing to fix. But those two options, that inertia conditioning and the velocity solver in iteration count, just dropping those down and turning them off and things like that will help a lot. There is something we need to do to the player as well to also alter that too. But let's move on to the master AI. Okay, so the master AI is a little bit more interesting. You obviously need to determine what you want your AI to do, but for the most part, we'll keep it simple. We're going to get to our third-person character, and this is where the setting of the events for the AI, for the anim rate, sorry, is going to come in handy. To set anim rate. We're also going to do the bind event to reset anim rate as well, like so. Get rid of those because we don't need those. We're going to custom event, and we're going to rewind, and you probably guessed it, we're going to do a custom event of forward as well, like so. And all we need to do is get the mesh and set play rate for the animation 2 times. Okay, put the mesh into this one as well. We're going to do a -1 and a 1, and that's that done. And then after that, it's just setting up the values in the from the time rewind toot. So again, just drag this in, and we're gonna set the AI ref. We're also gonna set that capsule component ref, and last but not least, we're gonna set is AI. I'm just gonna grab the capsule component down, and I'm also gonna get a reference to self, like so. And then after that, what I would do is I'd be determining whatever movement logic I want after all of this. So you'd probably have a custom event. Mine's just a simple AI move too that just repeats itself, and they'll just forever move. As long as they can find the player in the nav mesh, they'll just forever move. But yeah, you can set whatever logic you want. If you wanted to do like patrols, or just bog standard AI that might attack, things like that, you can do that. And the last thing we need to do is if we go to our character movement and we go down to we want to go down to, I think it's gravity. Yeah. No, not gravity. Here we go. Jump. When you jump on something, what you'll find at the moment is you're flung into the air in whatever direction that object was moving previously. To counteract this, all you need to do is untick impart base velocity on the X, Y, and Z, and impart base angular velocity, set that to false. I found that this is what helped me drop that problem. And it was even as simple as, for example, before, if we rewind this mid-flow and then we jump, we would be flown into the air. So that just got rid of that, setting those four little tick boxes. And in all honesty, it took me a long time to figure out what the issue was. But yeah, there's just those 4 little tick boxes, and also removing these bits we moved off of the static mesh master as well. Hopefully you found this tutorial useful in rewinding. Like I said, I'll put the original tutorial in the description, and then you can either add my amendments or not. It's completely up to you. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Much love. Take care. Bye.